So I want to ask you a question. How many tastes are there? Really? The answer is still somewhat up for debate, to be honest, because scientists continue to explore so many complexities of our taste perception. And you may have answered that you only recognize 5 primary tastes, and that's true. Welcome. You're listening to TALRadio powered by Touch A Life Foundation, and this is Foodology. I'm radio host Devansh, and on this show, I talk about the enormous world of a little word called food. We live to eat, or do we eat to live? Whatever your answer may be to that simple yet complex question, we can't deny that we all love to taste new and exciting flavors all the time. No matter how fancy or simple a dish may be, if the taste isn't right, it could make or break the fare. That's how important taste is for us. One thing we all know that food can be sweet, sour, bitter, salty, and sometimes savory. But how many tastes are there? In today's episode, I will be diving deep into the science behind taste and exploring the various theories on the number of tastes that exist. Last week's episode on the colossal world of candies and exploring why people crave sweet tastes really prompted me to explore more aspects of tastes and share them with you. To make things simpler, taste is basically a sense that is primarily detected by our taste buds, which are small structures on our tongues and other parts of our mouth. These taste buds contain receptors that can detect specific molecules in food, which then send signals to our brain that interpret the taste. Now, the 5 tastes that we commonly recognize are sweet, sour, bitter, salty, and umami. However, some researchers have proposed that there are additional tastes that we haven't fully explored yet. One theory that has gained popularity in the recent years is the idea of a 6th taste called oleogustus, which is the taste of fat. While we typically think of fat as a texture rather than a taste, there are researchers that suggest that there may be a receptor on our tongue that specifically detects the presence of fatty acids in foods. In fact, some studies have found that people are able to identify the taste of fat in foods like milk, butter, and cream. There's another theory that proposes that there may be a 7th taste. Not just 5, not just 6, 7 tastes. This taste is called kokumi, which is the sensation of mouthfeel or richness. This taste is said to enhance the taste of other tastes and create a more rounded and satisfying flavor. While the existence of kokumi is still debated, some researchers believe that it could be an important aspect of our overall taste experience. Let's start by exploring the most beloved taste of them all: sweet. From candy to fruits, sweet flavors are a universal favorite among humans. But what makes something sweet? How does our body respond to this taste, and why do we enjoy it so much? Let's go and explore the science behind the sweet taste. Sweetness is primarily detected by receptors on our taste buds, which are located on our tongue and other parts of the mouth. These receptors are specifically tuned to detect molecules of sugar, which are a type of carbohydrate that our body uses for energy. When we eat something sweet, the sugar molecules attach to these receptors and send signals to our brain, which interprets that the taste is sweet. However, it's not just the presence of sugar that makes something taste sweet. There are also other factors that can influence our perception of sweetness. For example, the intensity of the flavor, the temperature of the food, and sometimes even the color. Now this question arises that why do we love sweet flavors so much? Well, It turns out that our love for sweetness is rooted in our evolutionary history. Our ancestors primarily ate foods that were either sweet, so like fruits, or foods that were bitter, such as poisonous plants. Over time, our taste buds developed to prefer sweet flavors as they were signaled that the food was safe to eat and provided a valuable source of energy. In contrast, bitter flavors were often associated with toxicity and danger. Despite this, our modern diets are often overloaded with sweet flavors, which sometimes can have negative consequences for our health. Like, too much sugar consumption has been linked to a variety of health problems like obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. It's important to consume sweet foods in moderation and to be mindful of added sugar in processed foods and drinks. No matter what, the sweet taste is a universal favorite. And it's easy to see why. Our taste buds are specifically tuned to detect such kind of a taste, which provides a valuable source of energy and has been in our evolutionary history. Next up, we have the salty taste profile. Salty is another one of the basic 5 tastes that we know. So what exactly would you say is the salty taste? Is it the taste of salt? Well, kinda, because salty taste is generally described as being similar to the taste of salt. It is often associated with minerals such as sodium and potassium, which are essential to many physiological processes in the body. The salty taste has a very distinctive sensation on the tongue. It feels like the tongue has been coated in a mineral-rich or slightly acidic liquid. The salty taste is primarily derived from the presence of sodium ions in food. Sodium is the essential mineral that is involved in many biological processes, including the regulation of fluid balance in the body, the transmission of nerve impulses, and the contraction of muscles. In addition to sodium, other minerals such as potassium, magnesium, and calcium can also contribute to the salty taste of food. When we eat salty foods, the salt dissolves in the saliva. It forms sodium ions which interact with the taste receptors of the tongue to create the sensation of salty taste. While sodium is an essential nutrient for our bodies to function properly, excessive consumption has been linked to a lot of health problems like high blood pressure, stroke, and even heart diseases. It is recommended to not overconsume salty foods, but on the other hand, consuming too little sodium can also be detrimental. By paying attention to the salt content of the foods that we eat and making an effort to choose lower sodium options or a balanced amount, we can ensure that we are getting the right amount of salt in our diets and maintaining our health. Here comes sour. No, not the Olivia Rodrigo one, but the sour taste. Sourness is often associated with acidity and can be found in a wide range of foods, from fruits and vegetables to fermented products like vinegar and yogurt. So let's start by talking about what exactly the sour taste is and how it works. As I've mentioned, the sour taste is primarily caused by the presence of acids in food. When we eat something sour, our taste buds capture that. They are stimulated by the hydrogen ions that are released by the acid. This then sends a signal to our brain that we perceive as sourness. Fruits like lemon, limes, and grapefruits are probably the most well-known sources of sourness, but there are many other examples. Berries such as raspberries, cranberries are also quite sour. Other foods like pickles, sauerkraut, and dairy products like yogurt and sour cream are also sour. Okay, a quick question. Have you ever noticed or experienced that sometimes we enjoy sour foods, especially when they can be quite intense and even unpleasant at times? Do you know why that happens? Let me tell you. There are a few reasons for this. For one, sourness can add complexity and balance any dish. It can help to cut through the rich or fatty flavors and add brightness and freshness to any dish. Additionally, many sour foods are associated with health benefits. For example, foods that are high in vitamin C, like citrus fruits, are quite sour, so we may have evolved to appreciate the sour taste as a way of seeking out nutrient-rich foods. Speaking of health benefits, there have been a lot of talk recently about the potential benefits of drinking things like vinegar or lemon water. There are even evidences that suggest that consuming small amounts of vinegar or other acidic foods can have great health benefits. For example, there are studies that show that consuming vinegar can help to regulate blood sugar levels and promote feelings of fullness, which may aid in weight loss or managing a healthy weight. However, it's very important to note that these benefits are seen with moderate consumption, and excessive consumption of acidic foods can actually be harmful. You can use sour flavors best in dressings, marinades, and sometimes even in desserts. For example, I often make vinaigrette with lemon juice and olive oil and drizzle it over salads or roasted vegetables. You can also use sour fruits like rhubarb or sour cherries in pies and other desserts. I definitely would recommend you to experiment with sour flavors and not be afraid to try new things. There are so many interesting and delicious foods out there that can add a touch of sourness to your meals, whether it's just a squeeze. Bitterness. Bitterness is often associated with some of our favorite foods and beverages. Wait, what? Surprised, right? Hear me out. Come to think of it, from coffee to chocolate, from beer to vegetables, bitter is a complex flavor that has both positive and negative connotations. So let's dive in and discover the fascinating world of bitterness. And as I've blabbered already, that we taste bitterness in foods because our taste buds react with certain chemical compounds. And talking about bitter flavors, there are alkaloids, terpenoids, and phenolics, which are found in plants as a defense mechanism against herbivores and insects. By tasting bitter foods, we can identify potentially harmful or toxic substances and avoid them. But bitterness is not always a bad thing. Many of the foods and drinks that we love, like coffee, chocolate, and beer, are naturally bitter. In fact, bitterness can enhance the flavor and complexity of these products and make them more enjoyable. It's all about finding the right balance between bitterness and other tastes, like sweetness and acidity, to create a well-rounded and satisfying sensory experience. Also, it turns out that our ability to taste bitter is influenced by our genetics, culture, and personal preferences. Some people are more sensitive to bitterness than others due to variations in their taste receptors. For example, some genetic mutations make people particularly sensitive to bitter compounds found in green vegetables like broccoli and kale. This can explain why some people find these foods unpalatable, while others love them. And while excessive bitterness can be unpleasant, moderate amounts of bitter compounds in food and drinks can have a range of positive effect on our bodies. Like, bitter foods and drinks can stimulate our digestive system, increase our appetite, and help us absorb nutrients more effectively. Bitter substances can also have antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory properties and may help to prevent certain diseases like cancer and Alzheimer's. Bitter tastes can also have negative effects, like excessive bitterness can trigger negative emotional responses such as disgust and aversion and lead to the rejection of otherwise nutritious foods. But no matter what, bitterness is a very complex and multifaceted taste that has both benefits and drawbacks. While bitter flavors can add depth and nuance to foods and drinks, they can also be challenging on our taste buds and some cultural norms. By understanding the science behind bitterness and how it affects us, we can make more informed choices about what we consume and appreciate the diversity and complexity of our taste experiences. Time for the yummiest taste of them all: umami. It has become a sensation in the culinary world, and here's how. Umami is the fifth taste and is often described as a savory or a meaty taste that leaves a lingering and satisfying sensation in the mouth. The word umami actually comes from Japanese, which means deliciousness or a pleasant savory taste. The discovery of umami began in the early 20th century when Japanese scientists identified a unique flavor in kombu seaweed broth. This flavor was found to be distinct from the other four basic tastes and was given the name umami. Umami is produced by the presence of glutamate, a natural amino acid found in many foods like meat, fish, vegetables, and cheese. Glutamate can also be found in foods that have been fermented, such as soy sauce and miso paste. In addition to glutamate, there are certain other compounds in addition to glutamate that contribute to the umami taste. These compounds react with our receptors, sending signals to the brain and resulting in this very unique concoction of tastes. That's called umami. Umami has become a highly prized taste in the culinary world. It's often used to enhance the flavor of food, either by adding ingredients that are high in glutamate or by using umami-rich foods such as soy sauce or Parmesan cheese. Umami is the reason why certain foods such as tomato sauce, meat stocks, and soy sauce taste so satisfying. In many cases, the addition of umami-rich ingredients can be the key to creating a truly delicious dish. Umami has become a central component in many different cuisines, from Japanese to Italian, and is widely used by chefs around the world. And you'd be happy to know that the benefits of umami go beyond just its taste. Researchers found that the presence of umami can increase your satiety and help to control your appetite. This can be beneficial for people looking to maintain a healthy weight or control their food intake. Additionally, umami can help to reduce the need for added salt, as it enhances the flavor of food naturally. This is an important factor for people with high blood pressure and those looking to reduce their sodium intake. From its discovery in a seaweed broth to its use in modern cuisine, umami has become an essential taste in the culinary world. Whether you're a food lover or just interested in the science of food, umami is worth exploring. Trust me. Well, these were the 5 basic tastes, and you may never know what's gonna come next. And beyond these potential additional tastes, there's also research being conducted into ways that our environment and genetics can influence our perception of taste. For example, some people are considered super tasters, meaning that they have a greater number of taste buds and are more sensitive to certain flavors. Others may have a threshold for detecting tastes, or may even experience certain tastes differently based on cultural or individual preferences. As we learn more about biology and psychology of taste, we may continue to refine our understanding of this fundamental aspect of our human experience and possibly make surprising discoveries in the field. Until then, the best we can do is enjoy the medley of tastes all around us and appreciate them to the fullest. Thank you so much for sticking around with me on this episode of Foodology. I had an incredible time talking to you. This is radio host Devansh, signing off. Hope you have a beautiful and a magical day ahead. See you soon.